Hey humans, I'm Brianne Williamson. Welcome back to another episode of I Heard She's a Lesbian. Today we're going to be talking about how to tell if someone's gay without asking them.
She's the one I'm thinking of. Hey, the only one I'm thinking of. Hey, she's everything I'm dreaming of. Hey, the one that I can live without.
All right, so it's been a minute. Yeah. There's a reason it's been a minute. I have not wanted to take up a lot of space on the internet. There are far more important things going on. I'm going to continue to link a bunch of petitions for the Black Lives Matter movement down in the description. I really think that it is important that we all donate what we can, sign those petitions, and keep fighting for equality and the rights of Black folks and people of color, because it is a shit show out there right now and it's not over. So keep doing what you can. I haven't uploaded on YouTube in a while. I've been pretty busy over on TikTok. Embarrassing myself. If you're into cringy content and the government stealing your information, make sure to go follow me over there. But now I'm hoping to get back to more regular scheduling on my YouTube channel. That's partly because I miss it here and partly because I am finally going to hire some folks to edit my videos. I think all of you humans out there have dealt with the terrible quality on here long enough. The folks over at Queer Based Media are going to help me out. I think for a lot of years, I put off hiring someone to edit because I felt like to be a real YouTuber, I had to do it all myself. We've seen how that's been going for me. Not great. So I thought, you know what, I'll stick to what I'm good at or okay at, which is rambling on and hopefully providing some sort of value. And I'll let the people that know how to use more programs than iMovie do what they can. That said, I'm not giving them a lot to work with because I am recording this on my iPhone and the mic that I'm using is closer to my vagina than it is my mouth. So good luck to them. We'll see what they can do with this. This isn't alcohol. Not yet, anyways. On this episode of I Heard She's a Lesbian, we are talking about how to find out if someone is gay without directly asking them. As always, this topic can relate to so many gender and sexuality identities. However, I am going to be talking about it from the perspective of a lesbian, because that's how I identify, but definitely keep in mind that no matter who you are, hopefully you can get some value from what I provide today. If you like this series, I Heard She's a Lesbian, you like the advice kind of LGBTQ plus stuff, make sure to also check out my podcast. What's it called? Make sure to also check out my podcast, I Can Explain Podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. It will be there for your listening pleasure. We just hit 90 episodes, and we cover everything from coming out to LGBTQ plus sex, all sorts of fun stuff, so make sure to go check that out. So I usually get these topic ideas from all of you sliding into my DMs over on Instagram and asking me for advice, and a shocking amount of you want to know how to figure out if someone is gay without directly asking them. In fact, a lot of you want to know how to find out if someone's gay without even breathing near them, talking to them, communicating in any way, making eye contact. And there's only so much I can do, so I can't promise all of that, but I do have some helpful tips where you don't have to directly say, hey, are you gay? This is super relatable for me because when I was younger and not as comfortable with my sexuality, I was very uncomfortable talking about my own sexuality and whether I might be gay, and it would have been impossible for me to communicate in any way to another individual and try and figure out if she was gay as well. I had enough barriers around my own sexuality that trying to figure out if someone else was gay, nightmare. Then I got really comfortable with my sexuality and I went the complete opposite direction. In fact, about a year ago, I had someone slide into my DMs and they had met me years prior when I was like a baby gay out at one of my first gay bars. And I was like feeling myself, all comfortable in my sexuality, feeling super safe in this gay bar. And they said hi to me and I was like, hey, are you gay? Like, what? Who says that? I did. I'm not suggesting that. Awkward. And they actually let me know when they slid into my DMs that I was the first person that they ever came out to. Because I just so bluntly asked. And then they were like, actually, yeah. And that was the first time they ever told anyone. Not recommending that you do that. I'm just saying today we're going to try and find somewhere in between the two, in between not being able to communicate about sexuality at all and actually directly, awkwardly asking someone if they're gay. I've found that a lot of people, when making these sort of figure out if other people are gay videos, focus a lot on the physical. Honestly, I think that's bullshit. I don't really think that there's any way to tell if someone is queer by the way that they look. I mean, there's certain people that fit those stereotypes, but it's not to say that the people that don't aren't queer. So these are some tips that are gonna work regardless of how someone is presenting on the outside. An example of why that's important is I had the biggest crush in university on this girl in my class. I wasn't out to a lot of people yet, only some close friends, and I definitely was not comfortable coming out to a stranger or like someone in a class that I was working on a group project with. So I definitely wasn't feeling brave enough to come out to her or ask her in any way about her own sexuality. So I was definitely reading the exterior signs, if you will, and like every day she wore like skater clothes or like Adidas track pants with like a baggy tee. She was always in athletic wear. Her like part-time job out of school was being a stunt double, and she was always training in these like crazy stunts and telling me about them. And I was like, okay, super gay. I mean, like, my gaydar was just going off, okay? I was very excited. I thought that she was going to marry me in approximately 2 weeks after I got the nerve to tell her that I was also gay. Unfortunately, that never happened. And turns out I still have this girl on Facebook, and awkward, she's now like a very much homophobic and very outspoken about how she feels about certain gay rights. And she has like a husband and kids. So I guess I was wrong about her being gay. Or maybe I wasn't. That's just summing up that you can never really tell from the exterior. Jenna, if you're watching this, hit me up. Just kidding. Oh, God. So these are 3 ways that you can hopefully get some information to either find out this person's sexuality or at least feel safe enough that you can share your own. Tip number 1. If you have their social media, go look and see who they are following. This doesn't always work with major celebrities. Like if they're following a super famous LGBTQ plus person, you know, maybe they just like the movies they're in. If they're following the Queer Eye guys, like forget about it. But if they are following some more niche queer individuals like YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram lesbians. I mean, why are they following them? Why do they even know about them if they're not in some way gay? You know? So that is my first tip. Check out who they're following on social media. I feel like it gives you a fairly good idea. That said, it's not going to tell you for sure because I also know a lot of my LGBTQ plus friends that are not interested in social media. They have no idea about the online world of internet gays. So it's not really going to help you there. But if they are following them, I think that's a pretty good clue. Another benefit of that tip is you don't actually have to be talking to them to check that out. Tip number 2, you do have to be communicating with them in some way. So this is going to be beneficial if you have a crush on a friend or someone in your class, or maybe you're chatting with someone online, but it's not obvious if they're LGBTQ+. This tip is to start asking them questions about what they like. And hopefully, if they are kind of like picking up on what you're putting down, they're going to answer in a way that helps them feel safe too. It kind of tests the waters. And what I mean by this is if you ask someone what their favorite TV show is and they answer with a really queer TV show, either they just really, I guess, like the gays, like Queer Eye, or maybe they're trying to let you know something. You know what I mean? You can go a step further by asking who's your favorite character on that TV show. And if they say the lesbian, you're in. This also works with asking them about their favorite artists, what are their favorite concerts they've been to, if they could see any concert, like their dream concert, who would it be, what are some of their favorite movies. If they're not giving you a lot back, you can test the waters by letting them know that your favorite movies, TV shows, or artists are queer. So even if your favorite movie is super straight and heteronormative, lie. Just lie. Tell them that you love the gayest movie you can think of, because that is going to test that safe space. You know, depending on how they respond, you might get a better idea if they themselves are queer, or at least if it's a comfortable environment for you to express yourself. My third tip is the bravest one of them all. So we're kind of just escalating here. And that is to share yourself, because when you provide someone a safe space by sharing who you are, they are probably going to feel more comfortable sharing who they are in return, if they're ready for that. This can be straight up sharing your sexuality if that comes up in conversation, or you can do it in more sly ways, like bringing up an ex, but letting them know their gender. So for example, if I was talking to a girl and I was flirting with her, maybe I would bring up, oh yeah, me and my ex-girlfriend went there one time. Not ideal to bring up the ex on a first date, but it does do the trick of letting that person know that you did have an ex-girlfriend and I'm a girl. So they can put 2 and 2 together, and then maybe they feel safe sharing back. This also helps in finding out if they are either not LGBTQ+, or if they are definitely not ready to share that. Because if you let them know about a past girlfriend, or bring up a gender-specific experience that kind of tells them that you are in fact queer, and they respond with something along the lines of, oh, amazing, I have a gay friend, or the classic, oh, my cousin's gay. Basically the heterosexual way of telling you that they're not homophobic or trying to, then they're probably not gay, or at least they're not comfortable in sharing that, or they're not there yet. But at least then you know they're a safe space, which is cool too. All right, humans, that's it for this episode of I Heard She's a Lesbian. I hope you got something from it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below and ask me questions. Let me know topics that you'd like me to cover in the future. And make sure that you're subscribed. It really helps me out in this whole YouTube algorithm space, especially as a queer creator. And you can also check me out on my other social media platforms like TikTok, where I post an obnoxious amount every day. Don't forget to click the links down in the description and sign those petitions and donate where you can.